Hello everyone. I think we are now live. Are we live? I think we're live. Hey, how are you doing? I decided to go live just because I've been working on a few things and I wanted to take a break from editing in between while working on some other. You're not allowed to touch that frame. You know this. So go up there. I always have to remind the cat, do not touch the frame. He doesn't actually touch it. Hey Shane. He sometimes, nudges it a little bit, but it's pretty secure, but I still don't like him touching it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's my frame. So I just have to remind him a few times. So just waiting on a client to sign off a homepage before I continue on it. Got to do a couple of videos that another client's requested just to help them out as part of their handover. And I was working on a new video for my new SEO tool, and it's no longer rank math. Hey, John, it's no longer rank math. But I'm not going to say what it is yet because I don't want to give away the surprise until Monday. And it's not a really big surprise, to be honest. It's not going to be like a plugin that people have not heard of. People are aware of it. But yeah, it's going to be... it's going to be a change from what I normally do and what I'm used to. I've just got to double check the sound and everything is coming through okay. Just bear with me for a moment because I just want to make sure I've not clicked or forgotten to do something, and I just have to do the pop-up chat. Who here does live chats via YouTube? To be honest, even if you do it via the YouTube studio or you use Restream, or you use EVMux or whatever you use, it doesn't really matter because either way, you're always going to have to click and do things like that. Did you know that Matt Mullenweg is doing a talk today, and I can't remember the name of the event, Extreme X Digital something, about the future of WordPress. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to... I'm not sure if there's going to be a live broadcast of it. I need to go and check. But I'm interested to see what does Matt say, because yesterday there was a bit of an announcement about Paid Membership Pro, how they've decided to not... What they're doing is they want to run updates from their website, a bit like what Advanced Custom Fields are doing to protect their plugin. Automatic and WordPress have gone and said, yeah, that's fine. If you want to run the updates on your website, that's totally fine. But then they have almost threatened to take Paid Membership Pro and fork it into their own plugin out of anger and spite, in my opinion, because a plugin company has now decided that we don't want to run our updates via the WordPress repository. We want to do it in-house on our local website. There are pros and cons to that. Because if I'm using WordPress and I'm using a plugin, etc., I would expect it to kind of be updated via the repository so it feeds through. That being said, though, if you decide to do it locally on your own server or your own website, what's so wrong with that? So there's two ways you can argue it. What I don't think is good from a business or a moral or an ethical point of view is for Matt or WordPress or whoever is calling the shots, or I don't know these days, to then say, right, you've decided to run your updates from your own website. We're talking about Paid Membership Pro here. We're going to take your plugin and we're going to fork it and call it something else. They're probably going to call it Paid Membership, probably Paid Membership. They'll just get rid of the word Pro, or they'll call it Paid Membership Free. Do you know what I mean? Out of spite. Because a lot of people think Paid Membership Pro is a premium plugin. It is. But there's so much you can do for free, right? Every time I say to people, yeah, go use Paid Membership Pro, they go, oh, but I wanted a free plugin. And I go, yeah, it is free, unless you want to do loads of other stuff. But if you want subscription and all of this stuff, it actually gives it to you out the box. So you could go and use it. John, I can see the main... I can see... Sorry, hey John Cyanidis, the form to custom fields is really helpful. Yeah, isn't it good, John? Can I say that when I cracked that, I was so proud of myself because I have nothing against front-end forms and all of that and other front-end form plugins and tools and codes. But I always felt like there's got to be a really, really simple way where if you fill in an Elementor form, it chucks the fields into the custom fields. And it did it. And it's not perfect because it doesn't really work with like custom taxonomy. It doesn't work properly with feeding it back. And with WYSIWYG, and I got a video tomorrow where I go a step further with it, where I actually now do a proper form, not just for reviews, like a proper Elementor form going in for your custom post, a proper one. That's coming out tomorrow. So John says, I can see the main way forward is do your own plugin download on your own site, just in case WP come along and don't like it. The trouble is, though, is that if you do that, John, if they're able to get the code from GitHub or wherever, and it's open source, they could just create a copy. They could say, right, screw you, we're going to create a copy, which means then you don't have open source. So it's like, do you have open source? Do you not have open source? Hey, John, just Jono. Hey, Jono. We'll call you Jono. Sunny South Africa. Is it really sunny down there? It's quite cold here, which is why I've got my hoodie on. I had my t-shirt on and I quickly put this on because my hairs on my arms started rising upwards. Ashraful, how you doing? Good to see you here. Shane, this is all very concerning. It's a pity there is nothing else that compares to WordPress. Absolutely. Look, there are other possibility solutions out there. Are they as rich as WordPress? Why am I still using WordPress after 20 years? Literally 20 years I've been using it now. Why am I still using it? Wix came along. I tried it. Didn't like it. Developers at that point. And if you didn't know how to code properly, right, there was a bit of like infighting. You don't know what to do. Why are you building websites for? You should only do it if you're qualified and all of this, okay. But time and time again, as the community built up, the love and attention and the way we support one another just grew and grew and grew. And I just did not ever see that in Wix or Squarespace or other areas, Webflow, all of them. That's me just being honest about why. 32 degrees, Jono says. Damn, that's nice and hot. WordPress can be anything you want. Exactly. And on that basis, nothing comes close. Exactly, Shane. I totally agree with you. And that is why I'm still loving and making babies with WordPress. I'm not really making babies with WordPress, but you get the idea. John, why would you give other people your own code? No, but that's open source, John. So so John, on a Git, a lot of websites, they have open source. Of course, the code on its own ain't going to be everything. There's more that goes into it, but that's what open source is. So ACF, there was open source. Just like if you install ACF and click export, it gives you the code. You can deactivate ACF and you can still have custom field and custom post types and taxonomy, right? So you can still do that. So there are lots of plugins out there, loads of them, where you can download the code, tweak it to do what you want. Yeah, Joomla. Oh, let's not. I don't like to think of Joomla. I don't like to think of Dreamweaver. I don't like to think of the dark days, as I call it. And the reason I call it the dark days was because you were building in a dark room. You didn't want to be distracted. You didn't want to talk to anyone. You just wanted to crack it and make it work. Because it was, in those days, you had a problem. You couldn't turn to someone else in your office because they might not even understand what you're talking about, right? And they all have their own ways of doing it. Hey, Case, how you doing? Smiley Jack, a client wants a static WordPress website. What are those? Static, so it's a headless website in a way. So it's going to be, it's like taking a website, stripping out all the gunk, and it's just pure HTML driven with CSS and etc. But it's headless, so it's much more secure. They can run really fast. But I don't think you can do a WooCommerce website or e-commerce on a headless website. I think. I've never tried it, but from what I know and read up about it, especially when Elementor acquired Static, the headless website solution, which I wasn't overly impressed by because I felt like I don't see how that goes hand in hand with Elementor. Just check some of the comments. Mystic Mac, how you doing? I have Elementor free and Pro Elements free. Pods not showing on website. So the question I got for you, Mystic Mac, why have you not got Elementor Pro? You're saying the pods are not showing. Have you got the pods plugin? Or is pods part of Pro Elements? Because I don't use Pro Elements. Hey, here's a special fact for everyone. I do not use third-party Elementor add-ons. End of, right? Kaput. Zilch. No, I don't. If I've got Elementor and Elementor Pro, I don't need any other add-on because I steer my clients intentionally to use the widget or what I can do where I can hack into the widget and do a little bit more with Elementor Free and Elementor Pro, basically, right? I don't, unless my client wants a special calculator, and then I might have to think about, well, can I use Elementor Form? Can I use Forminator? Can I use the QI add-ons, which is a really good third-party plugin, but I don't even use it. If I had to, I would. But what I do is I steer my clients to, well, this is how we're going to do it. Because the less third-party plugins you have, the more secure and robust your website can be. Look, we know that when Elementor Free or Pro have an update, like with the recent 3.25 update, which caused an issue with global widgets, didn't affect me, because I don't use those global widgets, but it would have affected people. There can be issues and problems. Now imagine Elementor Free and Elementor Pro, or hello, there's a potential issue when there's an update. Potentially. Not as common as they used to be, but potentially. I mean, you've gone and got some add-ons. What do you think's going to happen here? Right? You're asking to give yourself a sleepless night. Case makes a very good point. Why demand it's WordPress if it needs to be static? Exactly, Case. It's a weird one, isn't it? Do you get what I mean? It just doesn't like, because you can convert websites into headless, but then I feel like, I don't know. I haven't done any scientific experiment to explain exactly everything I'm saying at the moment, so I'm probably talking gobbledygook. Oh, sorry, John, you clarify. So what you're saying is you make a plugin into a zip file, they upload to WP, so WP can't take your code just in case they want to, but I said I see. No, but they could do. Right? WP, I mean, if I'm reading right, technically right, the only way someone can't hack into your plugin is if when you go into your plugin, there's some JavaScript which is stored elsewhere because most of them are like a library and it feeds it through. But if you try and get to the library or whatever, it's locked down. So it pulls it, but it doesn't allow you to see it. Either way, and if someone wants to, they can open up a plugin and strip it apart and do what they want with it if you got the investment and the time. What do I think about Elementor 3.25? Well, it has got some really good performance boosting. That's for sure, since Elementor, well, for the last 4 to 5 updates, there's been big improvements. But that was about it. There isn't anything major, which is why I have not done a video on 3.25. When Elementor bring out an update, if there's like 1 or 2 features where I go, wow, that's good. This is a game changer for some people, or it improves something, then you could do it. And by the way, John, they're not hackers. It's not that difficult, John. Seriously, right? You can open up loads of plugins, right? You just have to unzip it, and then there'll be a PHP file. You double click it and it will have all the code in there. You take the code, you dump it into a HTML script or a code snippet, and you will now have that plugin via a code snippet. What you then have to do is just understand it a bit or use ChatGPT, stick it into AI and go, right, now explain where I change X to Y to Z. And it will chuck out a new bit of code, and you chuck that into code snippet. And now you've got a modified version of that plugin. But some plugins are a little bit locked down and a little bit tricky, like WooCommerce subscriptions. That has got a whole load of like messy stuff inside. And then you got to go through the headache of the endpoints, the webhooks, the whole Stripe API. Forget it. Cannot be arsed at all to do that. I would love to, but I just ain't got the time to do that. Ashraf says, suggest something for security. How can I increase security? I've done videos on that. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see videos on the header security. There's all-in-one. There's malcare. There's, to be honest, there's loads of things you could use. So it all depends on the level of security you want, and you may need to go for a very premium one. And like Shane says, what does your host provide? SiteGround are good. SiteGround security is good, but I would say you need more. So like there's a header security plugin. If you go to learn.websquadron.co.uk, scroll down the page, we've got plugins. It tells you a list of my plugins, and I mention in there some of my security plugins I would recommend you go for and have a look at. John, asks, do I still do website critiques? Yes and no, John. Yes and no, because I charge for that kind of stuff now. But did I do one for you recently, though, John? I'll tell you what, email me, info@websquadron.co.uk. If you email it now, I'll get it on screen and we can have a quick look at it. Just the homepage, though, okay, is all I'll do. So if you email me on info@websquadron.co.uk, put your name, John Cyanidis, in the subject, just so I know, in case loads of other people start emailing, so I know which one I'm opening up. Tawfiq, why do you prefer Elementor? Why not? So I'll throw the question back at you. Why not? Tell me why not. Because you could say that about anything. Why do you like Pepsi Max? Why do you like iPhone? Why do you like cats? You know, about anything. The question really is, why shouldn't I like it? And where do I see Elementor in 5 years? Hopefully getting better. Hopefully still useful. Hopefully still current. Hopefully still easy to use, you know? But I always say, whenever someone says that kind of question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see Elementor? Where do you see WordPress? Where do you see Pepsi Max? I'm like, does it matter? Because if I say I want it to be here in 5 years and they don't get there, why do I want to build up expectation to disappointment? So I'm always like, I don't care about 5 years, 10 years. I might not even be here in 5 years' time. Who knows, right? What I want to know is right now, does it do the job? It does the job. So who cares where it is in 20 years' time, 50 years' time? Who cares? Because life could be very different for you. Let's say Elementor disappears in 5 years' time and I'm no longer web designing in 5 years' time. Then I won't care. So I always say that don't worry about it. Does it work for you now? If it works for you now, go for it. MD Jadan is talking about complex plugins. Absolutely. And some plugins, right, when I've investigated the back end, they are so ludicrously complicated, it does get a little bit crazy. Right, so John Cyanidis has just sent in his website, and I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to go to mini screen camera now. Boom. Right, okay, so I'm just going to refresh the page just so we see what we get on screen over here. We got a nice slider, nice clean images, really, really good. The only thing I spotted, and I did spot this, and I'm just double checking if it's intentional. Yeah, it's okay. You've got a border, but that was intentional. I get it. That was a border, but I get it. I just need to, hold on a moment. I just need to do something. I can't see the comments. Wait a minute. I need to see the comments. Right. Okay, cool. I can see the comments now. Owen says, thinking of moving his website to WMU Dev hosting. Good move. I can't comment. I don't use their hosting. So I don't want to say yes or no. But Jono says no. Okay, so that's pretty clear. The one thing about the website, John Cyanidis. And I'm going to just make sure this is on 0%. Yeah, 100%. The one problem I have is this bit over here with the cloud, right? So the website looks, the top half looks really good. And if your website was like that, I'd be, yeah, really, really good. Because I'm getting this at the bottom, this does annoy me because it's like a bleed upwards. I don't like that. Especially because the cloud is a very different color to like any of these images here. Very brownish kind of hues and whatever. This is just like cloud image. So I would do something about that. Menus, yeah, menus are nice. Menus are really, really nice. Really nice drop downs. Translation as well. So this is okay. This is fine. When I say okay, I mean it's good. Okay, people always feel like okay doesn't mean anything. This bit here, slightly... Okay, so here's just areas of improvement, I would say. Exactly, Kate. Your eyes go to the distraction. Exactly, the clouds. Exactly the point. Can you see here, you've got this gap? Obviously, it's because the words are left aligned and then you got the image, right? But there is a clear gap. Over here, because the text is still left aligned, we don't get the gap. So my recommendation is that if you, let's pretend that's like over 100, kind of like, let's say that I don't know, 150, right? I would add in about 100, 120 here as well. Move the text here more to the left. So if this is 2 containers or an image and a child container or whatever, I would swap that over, okay? Let's just scroll down. See what I mean here again? That gap. It just feels like, you know, so what I'm going to say is, so a lot of you are saying the font is too small. Maybe that's because what you're seeing on screen, but I can tell you now the font is very readable from where I am. So I'm just got a few planes flying over quite low. Plane drone sound. But yeah, you need a gap over here as well. I feel like, because if you're going to have something like that, not everyone's going to agree with me, but I would have a bigger gap here and a bigger gap here kind of thing. Yeah, this is good. This is really good. This is actually really good. I'm not sure about the highlight color change though. Don't know if you guys can see that because there's nothing to click. So I see that and it implies like there's maybe something to click, even though you haven't got the pointer active on that kind of thing. How can I implement the header blur? What do you mean, Ashraf? What do you mean the header blur? Because I don't think there's any header blur on here at the moment. I mean, that's quite good. It's a nice little map, right? And I do like the way this flows up, but it is misleading to have this hover color change, which you can just about see there. Yeah, this is fine. You know, accordion works fine. The footer's fine as well. I feel like the page is quite good. You just need to increase the gap, increase the gap, increase the gap, push this all the way down, and that's all I would say about it, really. I don't know if that helped you, John, at all. I hope it did. I hope it did. Dyslexia plays a big role. Yeah, John, I totally agree with you, right, Jonathan? But I'm going to be really controversial here, right? Sometimes you're going to go to a website which doesn't tick a box. So you have a choice. You stay there or you go somewhere else. So I would say that because from where I am, that font and that background was absolutely fine. Because it's streaming through YouTube and it's coming out on a screen, it might not have looked brilliant, but I can tell you now it was totally fine. But if anyone ever goes to a website and they think the text is too small, just move on. That's the whole point of the website and the world, in that we have choice. And if like from where I am, it looked okay. And I totally agree with you, because if you want your website to be fully dyslexic proof, you can't use the fonts that a lot of us use. You now have to use special dyslexic fonts. You know, the one where it's some letters are there's like a shadow, almost bigger effect on certain letters. Now, websites that have a dyslexic approved font, they work for people with dyslexia, but do they look good? I'll be honest, no, they don't. Because you focus more on the word, the style of the letter, rather than the word. But then, if the website's been built for people with dyslexia, I get it. It's for that audience. But if the website has been built for a wider audience, then again, I'm going to be brutally honest here. How many people with dyslexia are going to see that website? You've got to be really objective about this, right? Because like I've mentioned it before, people have sometimes said to me when I worked in the NHS, oh, that report you've got, the font on it is small. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to hand this report to someone who's visually impaired. This report goes to senior doctors in the NHS hospital. The chances of those senior doctors being visually impaired where they can't read a font 10 number on an Excel sheet is like not even existent. So what you have to do is you have to weigh it up. Because amount of times people would come to me and go, I remember someone once said to me, when I, where was it? In my old house, I did like a mini extension that led into another room. And the doorway, because of the way the walls were, because of the space I had, was 65 centimeter, but it wasn't a door. It was just an opening. And people who came to see it were like, oh, if I had a wheelchair, I can't go through there. And my answer literally was, I didn't build it for you. I built it for me. And I'm not 65 centimeters wide, right? I can get through there. Super, super piss easy if I want, right? I could have a doner kebab and still get through there. So you got to be objective about what do we want to have and what do we want to see. Because, and I'm going on a rant here, right? There's no way, right, anyone can tell me that is dyslexic proof right there. Yeah, well, no, but it's not but the extension was not for a cooker, though, John. Not for a cooker. It was for a mini office room. And you're not going to stick a cooker in there because all it had was electric kind of thing, concrete floor, right? But the point I'm making, right, is like, that's not web accessible. That's not, it'll hit the color contrast rule, but it's not going to satisfy other compliance. So there comes a point where we have to kind of like, I'm thinking of like, sometimes people take it to the nth degree. Do you know what I mean, John? And I always like to argue back and go, well then, like here, let me tell you another situation, right? Okay. Again, this is the same thing, right? So the person who argued with me about my report, right? We're going back 13 years, 2010, 14 years ago. I then said to them, the people you're talking about, do they wear clothes? Yes. Are all of the labels on their clothes like the right font size and the right contrast? And they were like, probably not. I went, right, well then you better tell them to chuck their clothes away. Do you get what I mean? And they hated it. They tried to take me down a disciplinary route and it got thrown out. HR threw it out. Everyone threw it out because they were like, this is ridiculous, right? Are we now saying that you can't have font size 10 on an Excel sheet? Anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. Let's go back. So yeah, John was saying, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad you like that. So like I was saying earlier, Matt Mullingweg, he's doing a talk today, almost like about the future of WordPress and all of that. I hope I can find, what the hell's this? I've just seen Right, probably should not share this, but this is the Web Squadron Facebook group. And Joel has just shared this. What the hell has this got to do with his post? Anyone have a way or a better option to make Google Ads show on pop-up? What the hell has this got to do with Google Ads? What has this got to do with Google Ads, people? If he does that again, he's getting banned from the group, right? But I don't like it when people take the mick, because I don't see what the hell that's got to do with. Yeah, but Shafil, Shafil, sorry, right? It got our attention, but anyone who does anything like that, you get kicked out of the group. I have zero tolerance. I'm telling you now, I have zero tolerance. Anyone who abuses the rules, anyone who spams, anyone who posts links to stuff they shouldn't, anyone who posts affiliate referral links, again, they shouldn't. Anyone soliciting, anyone who replies to a question with, yeah, I can help you, DM me, or I'll DM you, or whatever like that. If you decide to use tactics to get attention, I don't like that, all right? I don't, you go find your own group. Go start your own group. Go somewhere else, okay? Because, number one, right, there could be someone who's vegan or vegetarian, right? I'm not saying we need to be woke and that we can't talk about meat, but you don't go and throw shit like that on the screen, right? Eggs, it's a little bit, it's what I call disrespectful, okay? And you know what? Forget it. I'm just kicking him out. I don't care. Right, I've done it. It's gone. Kicked out. I've banned him. You could say it's controversial. I don't care. I really don't care, because I just feel like there's too many people that jump onto someone else's group to gain traction from their audience, and in actual fact, they never give anything back. That person, I know when people post comments, contribute. I know everything, right? And when I see some people who never, ever help anyone out, like never, and all they ever do is ask for help, I don't like it. Can I be really controversial? Do you like it when I'm controversial and I speak the truth? If you join a forum in a group and all you ever do is ask questions and you never contribute to help other people, do you know what you're doing? You are using the intelligence and the good tides and the goodwill of other people to help yourself out. Because when we solve your problem, it means that you get a job done and you get money from a client. You get to further your career and your business and your income and all of that. But I bet you, and by the way, when I say you, I don't mean you. I just mean, like you as in people. No, and John, you do. And lots of you on here do, and that's good. But some people, what they're doing is they get help, but they will not tell their client, by the way, I did not know how to do that, but some people in the Web Squadron group, in the WP Tuts group, in the Elementor group, in the Bricks Builder group, in the WP Crafter group, in the, Lightbox group, people in Kevin Geary, his group, they will not say, because of them, I solved the problem. Does that make sense? So what they're going to do is they will every so often they'll come to a group and they go, how do I do this? How do I do that? What do I do? What plugin do I use? And my reply usually is this for a client? And often they will say yes. And my reply is then, so why have you agreed to do something for a client if you did not know what plugin to use? You have misrepresented what you're going to do, and you've misled your client. Your client believed you, has paid you to get a job done, and now you're asking us to help you out? Sure, we will help, but then I expect community support. Otherwise, you're just feeding, you're just taking. You never give back. You just take. And when I see people do that, it fucking pisses me off, okay? I hope you had your volume on loudspeaker then. But it does, because I see it all the time. I see it not just from WordPress. I'm talking about when I worked in the NHS, right? I worked with so many people. And you often work in a room where there are some people that never ever help anyone out. But they want you to help them. How do I do this? How do I do that? What do I do here? How do I click here? How do I run this query? How do I data mine? How do I create this report? How do I synchronize? And what they do is they just take. So when I see some people in even our web squadron group do that, I keep an eye on them. Because there are some, fuck it, let me be honest here, right? Let me be fucking honest here, right? And I'm really sorry for swearing, but I get really passionate about this. There are some people in the group where I have marked them as they need approval to post. So I don't care if you do 20 posts today. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do X? None of your posts will go live until I approve it. Because there are some who are coming on regularly asking a question. Sometimes they never said thank you. Sometimes they never said if they solved it. Sometimes they were not clear. Sometimes they would ask a question, you answer it, and then they go and say, but what about X? And then you answer it, and then they go, what about Y? And you sort of go, you should have told us this in the original question. You said, how do I do X? We told you. Now you're saying, oh, but I can't do that because of this. Okay, then we told you an alternate solution. Then you said, oh, but I can't do that because of X, Y, Z. Tell us the full flipping question at the start. You don't go to an architect and say, draw the plans for an extension. They draw it and you go, oh no, it needs to be 3 floors high. And they go, okay, 3 floors high. And then you go back and go, no, it needs to have 20 bedrooms. The architect is going to say, you should have told me 3 floors high, 20 bedrooms, and anything else at the start. Anyway, as it blaze, I'm sorry, yeah, you've probably come on going, what the hell's going on here? Imran is swearing. I'm so glad you launched your own web agency. I hope it's doing well. What kind of clients are you working with? And is it growing? Are you scaling? What are you working on at the moment? Yep, K's omnipresent, exactly. You're right, Victor. There will always be people like that, but the difference is you either let it happen or you do something about it. And I'm a firm believer that when I see people abusing community spirit or the way we work or what's good for the wider community, I call it out and I go, no, watch out for that. It's like at the moment, there's a lot of gaslighters in the WordPress community. I'm not going to name names. So if I name names, I don't think some of you will be happy. But there are some gaslighters. What they do is they make a comment on a forum or their group or wherever, and they gaslight. They won't say what is the problem or who is the problem, but they will gaslight with a snidey comment. A bit like what I'm doing now. I could be accused of gaslighting, but they make a snidey comment because they don't want to deal with the noise. And quite frankly, I think that is a cowardly way. If you don't like the way someone does something, say it. Don't hide. Don't go, oh, I saw X, Y, Z and I don't like the way they did it. Right, get your finger out your arse and be honest about what was the problem. Because otherwise people will comment and go, oh, I agree with you. They should have thought about it more. But we don't even know what the problem was, who it was, any evidence. But what we'll do is we'll trust what you say and we'll agree with you because we're blind to the truth, which is what happens. Too much gaslighting, right? And often that's because those people have never been in a position of authority where they don't realize that the actions of what you say and do has an impact. Because it's dead easy to sit in your corner and go, I don't like how they did. But when you're in a position of authority and you say that, and it has a roll-on impact with other people, with how they perceive it or portray it, what you say and do is important. Damn, I'm on a massive rant today, aren't I? God, what's going on here today? No, but MD Jadan, you can join, but contribute as well. Help people out. Show that, you know, if you think, you don't even have to know the answer, right? If someone asks a question and you think you have a way of guiding them or helping them or asking another question to get them to think different, put it in there, right? You don't have to have the answer. Do you know how many times I've replied with just like, well, what is your version of Elementor? What other plugins have you got? What have you got activated? And I'm not planning to solve it, but I'm getting them to now think, and I also want them to answer it so that if anyone else jumps in, they now know that this person has a problem, but they're running Elementor version 2. They're like 4 years old. No wonder they got a problem. But if we don't do that, if we don't be a bit more clearer or give some clarity, we can't fully help each other out. Just reading some of the comments. Yeah, so John says, if someone calls you something, you question them, ask them why they don't like it, then they start what they can't. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of it, you know, thing. Because often, right, just answering John's comment there, is let's pretend, okay, so I'm going to use John as an example, right? Is that okay, Jonathan? Jonathan Blog, Ground Pets. Let's say you did a video on Canva with creating your font, which you did, right? I could go on to Web Squadron and I could say, without naming you, without even having a link to your video, I could say something like this. I really hate it when people create their own fonts in Canva without thinking about how we could use it. I haven't named you. I haven't completely named your video, even though I've kind of referred to it. And I've just said, you know, I've gone and made a bit of a throwaway statement. The gentleman way to do it would have been me to DM you and go, hey, John, I noticed you did this. Don't take this the wrong way, but did you think about X, Y, Z or how you could have used it? Might be good for a future video, or maybe I've got it wrong. And you, John, would come back and say, yeah, I did get it wrong. Or you're not bothered by that, or that's a non-issue, or you have thought about it. And then I would go, okay, fine, yeah, let it go. And why does it even bother me? Why does your video about Canva web font even bother me? Hey, Dave Pratt, hope you're okay, right? Why does it even bother you? You created the video for a crowd, a Canva, whatever, web font. And there will be people that watch it that like it. I probably will never use that method. Therefore, why am I even bothering to post to say, I really hate that video that someone did on Canva font, whatever. It's the cowardly way of gaslighting to create a reaction. You know you're going to get a reaction, and you do it to create a reaction. And then loads of people, right, John, who don't even know your video, don't even know I was talking about you, are going to jump on going, yeah, Imran, you're right. Yeah, these people, what are they doing? Why would you do that in Canva? Web font, God, they ain't got a clue. But they don't even know what we're talking about. That is the gaslight method. That is what people do in the office. That is what people do in life. That is what web designers do to each other as well. Why are you using Elementor? Why are you using bricks? Are you a web designer, but you're using a page builder? What? But you're using bricks, but why don't you build it in HTML? Why are you even using Etch? Nothing wrong with Etch, by the way. I'm just giving you examples, right? Oh my God, bricks sucks. I preferred Oxygen. Oh, what about breakdance? You know? Conversations we can have whereby rather than gaslighting, we can actually, well, we fall over, right? Because let's say I did that to you and then you challenge me, John. What have I got as a defense? other than maybe I don't like you. Therefore, it doesn't matter what you do, John, I will always criticize what you do. Maybe I'm jealous of you because you've got loads of subscribers and people watching your videos, and I'm jealous. Again, it doesn't matter what video you do. Oh my God, Smiley Jack, nothing wrong with Internet Explorer 8. Forget that. What about Netscape Navigator? Who here remembers Netscape Navigator? Damn. I remember downloading, there was an exclusive photo of Jar Jar Binks, R2 and C3PO near the pod racer, right? There was an exclusive photo, right? We're going back to what? 1998, I think it was. Might have been 98-ish or 97, 98. One of those times, right? Okay. There's an exclusive photo of Jar Jar Binks, right? C3PO R2D2. Netscape Navigator, right? Download. Do you remember those days? With the image coming in. Do you remember those days? In fact, do you remember the days when like you were trying to get, watch a trailer? Attack of the Clones, right? I tried to download a trailer. I started the download at night at about 8 p.m. I woke up at 7 a.m. in the morning and it still had only downloaded half of a trailer. Only 1 and a bit minutes of a 2-minute trailer. Because of dial-up modem case. Exactly. Dial-up modem. What a load of shit that was, right? Thank, we're talking ASDL, 56K and whatever. Showing my age there, but those were the days things just took. Oh my God. When you look back now on how fast things are, you think back to then, God, it was a pain. Right, just checking some of the comments over here. I think I've missed out on a few comments. Let me just check the comments. Sorry, I'm just quickly skimming down. Exactly, Greg. By the way, hey, Greg, I didn't say hi to you. Everyone has their tools, and that should be the end of the story. Sorry, I just got a message from MD Jadan who says he wants to join the group. So I'm just going to... Have you said you want to join the group? Ah, there it is. Right, I'm just going to approve. There you go. You're all in the group now. AOL 28K, 58. My very first one was 56K, which to some people sounds like a lot. It was not a lot. All right. 56K was not a lot. NTL phone line. No, I didn't have NTL. I had BT. So I had BT internet. I had the internet installed into my bedroom in 2000. I had the internet installed. And that was a big deal to have my own private phone line in my bedroom. Internet as well. It was good to have your own private internet, if you know what I mean. Abias says, freelancer complete. Okay, yeah, cool. You're having a conversation and that's okay. So sorry if I had a bit of a rant, but I just feel like often some of us were too easy to criticize other people just because of whatever reason. And often the reasons are nothing to do with the actual thing you're criticizing. It's just because you have a beef about someone or the other. You are right, Kays. Sometimes I won't always say thanks in the groups, but I do hit a like or whatever. But there is this truth about the fact that you can help people out, but you don't always know if it worked for them because they don't ever come back to say thank you. Yeah, that worked for me. There's a portion of people that will and do that, but there's a bigger portion that don't bother. And what gets me the most about that group is that they will use your solution for a client project where they will then get thumbs up and they will get paid. But you actually were the subcontractor who worked for free to help them get that solution, but you won't get anything back. And we don't do it because we want something back. Hey, Sinan, but just having a thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kays. Thank you, Adil. Thank you, Abias. Just something like that. Thank you, Greg. The power of the word thank you, the words, is so immense, right? it hits you here, doesn't it? When someone says thank you, I kid you not. If I open the door for someone, or I step aside for someone because there's like, or, you know, we're in a shop and I let them pass or whatever, or you're walking down a pathway and like you move to the side so they can pass you. When someone says thank you, it feels good. When they don't even acknowledge you because they feel like you should have moved, I don't say anything, but in my head, all I can think is, what a prat. And you might say, Imran, get over it. But there are some people in the world where they expect you to move out the way, to hold the door open, to have an answer, which is why today is called Controversial Hour with Imran, right? I've made clear so many times that people need to stop tagging me in the Web Squadron group or even the Elementor group because I have other things to do. But people sometimes, unintentionally and intentionally, they tag me. The minute you tag me, you make me feel like I've got to go and help you. Why the fuck do I need to do that? You're not paying me. You're not commissioned me. You might have watched my videos. So what? I don't mean to be brutal here, but just because you watch a video. Do you know how many times people have emailed me, and the first line is, I've watched loads of your videos, but I need you to help me with da 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 da. And I'm literally there going, so you watched my video. That's like you walking into a shop like Tesco's. You walk in and you say, I've been coming to this shop every week for the last 10 years, right? Every week. So that's 520 times for 10 years I've come in. You need to give me a trolley full of food for free. You need to help me out with, I'm going to walk and you're going to push the trolley and I will say, put that in and you will do it for me. Hey, Pickstar. And it's like this expectation. And I sometimes sit there and go, no, no. Adil says, you bought my version 2 course, really like it, sold a lot of... I'm really glad. I'm really glad. And yeah, the rhetoric about Elementor being bloated, there is bloat there. I'm not going to lie, there is bloat. But it's a whole lot better now than it was before. And when you look at the version 2 course, there's no page speed performance plugin installed. Not even FastPress. I haven't even put a Purge Your Cache plugin in there. None of that. But by the end of the course, the website score is 96% for the mobile and 100% for the desktop. How could I do that? Because things have moved on. And if you just go Elementor, oh, it's bloated, it's really slow, you're living in a mindset of 3 years ago. You have not reviewed and gone back in. Because I don't talk about Wix. I talk about Wix as it was 14 years ago because I didn't like it then. But now, if I was to go back in, it might be a really, really good thing because of Wix Studio. Let me just quickly review the comments. No. To be honest, right, you know these slats. I was going to do the slats a year ago. And then when I got these Atmos LED screens, I was a bit like, maybe it won't work. But then over time, I've gone back to going, I do want the wooden effect again. So I went back on myself. Yep, Greg is right. Thank you is as powerful as receiving anything that has monetary value. I would prefer the monetary value for Greg. But yes, thank you is really, really good as well. Enoch, the small things that matter, just a word has huge, great impact. Absolutely. How are you doing, by the way, Pickstar? What are you up to? Abias, where did you start your freelancing career? Well, the thing is, right, Abias, is that I'm 46 years old. I started working in the NHS 21 years ago. I spent 20 years in the NHS, while working in the NHS, in the evenings, when I had spare time, I learned how to code a bit more, built websites on and off. And that got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then around COVID time, I really had a hard think about what do I want to do with my career and life. I was head of business intelligence. You know, so it wasn't like I was just sat in an office. I was managing and doing stuff and working with the government and things. And then I decided, you know what? I want to change. I want to go all in on web design and all of that. And it started off with building websites for friends and helping people out, then finding businesses, companies. You notice that someone, you know, has started a business. They need a website. You start simple. You don't go in and go, I'm going to build you an amazing e-commerce website. You start off with 1-page websites, 3-page websites. I was on Twitter, I was on LinkedIn, I was on Facebook. You build a name for yourself, and then eventually people come to you, word of mouth referrals, right? I've never ever used Upwork. I've never ever used Fiverr. I have used Bark, but I didn't like it because Bark was what I call the low-paying clients. And when I say low-paying, I mean shitty low-paying clients, right? They don't want to pay more than... And it's a race to the bottom because someone says, I want a website. 50 people send a proposal in and everyone is racing to the bottom. I'm not in that game. But when you start to build for premium clients, word of mouth, they tell their friends, business comes in, they might want another website, like the website we're working on now. They've had 3 previous websites built for us. They're a multi-millionaire company, right? Boom, you know, they got tons of stuff going on. Built their first website. We built it for a certain price. The second website we built was double the price. The third website we built was double the price. The fourth website we built is double that price. So in the last 4 years, every year we've built a new website for them, and each year the price goes like that. We scale up. Business growth. Don't undervalue yourself. If you do want to build websites for low-paying clients, go for it. But I might build 1 website a month, and that's probably going to work out more than you building 2 websites a week for low-paying clients. Because it means I have time to do other stuff as well, kind of thing. Let me just check. People are going to start saying a copy Paul now. What people don't know is you've been doing this. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing though, John, innit? I mean, when I got these LED screens, the idea of doing the slat wall went out the window because then I started feeling like, I don't know if it will work. I don't know if it will work. And then eventually I got rid of them, painted the wall, saw how that went. And then I started feeling like, no, I want to go back to the slat wall approach. So these are actual wood pieces that have been put onto the wall, whatever. And it works really, really well. Cheers, Jono. 40-something. 46. 46. A lot of my white hairs, they are there, but a lot of them is more on my face kind of thing with the white hairs. You can just see there kind of thing. Pixar says, you're cooking your lunch, omelette. Yeah, I remember that. You always did love your omelettes, didn't you? You did love your omelettes. Things are really busy, Pixar. Like, whenever I say I'm busy, people then say, but you're doing a live chat, so you can't be busy. You can still be busy while doing other stuff. And this live chat is like what I call like a break. So I'm not working, but I'm engaging, networking, communicating. And it means that I get a break from what I was doing to just sometimes have a rant, to let things out, feelings, emotions, or what I'm working on. Because when you work on your own and you spend a lot of time in your office working, it can get lonely. So being able to just let it out can make a big difference. Right. Kay says, all that YouTubing is keeping you young. No, well, you know the LUTs. I'll show you. To be honest, right, the LUTs are more of a the LUTs are more of a they let me show you what it looks like without the LUTs, right? So this is full on LUTs. This is if I force the LUTs through like hardcore, right? This is without the LUTs. This is the natural lighting right now. You know, the red over there is not so powerful, even that light there. But this is with all the lights off except a light over there and the lights behind me there. There's a key light. This is now with the LUT. So look, that's without. This is with about there. Somewhere about there. So without, with. And you can see a good indication is that red behind me. You can see how it richens up to be about something like that. That's all the LUTs does, to be honest. Kind of thing, you know. Grey white hair. Greg says 58 and resembling Santa Claus. I have to be honest, sometimes like when you're watching TV and it then shows like maybe it's a news channel and they're speaking to someone and then it says something like they're 42 and I'm like, what? They look really, really old. And some people do say to me, why don't you look as old as you are? I have a theory. And when I compare it to other people I know, the theory stands. Okay, the theory stands. If you've worked hard all your life, right, or most of your teenage to adult life, I find that they grey slower than those where up until maybe early 20s, it wasn't so tough. And then all of a sudden, they hit the tough life. The mortgage, the work, you know, the chores, the churn. They then suddenly grey up quicker, kind of thing. But if you've worked hard all your life, your stress levels have always been up here. So the grey comes slower. But if you had like easy life, and again, I don't mean easy life in a nasty way, but if you had like an easy life, and then you went into stress, because of the shock to your system, you grey and white up quicker. And when I look at a lot of people I know in my life, and I know the ones that had it, they didn't have a lot of stress, and then they hit the stress. And there are those that worked solid hard. They were always at it, 24/7. They look younger, grey slower, like proper grey. They're like me. And I don't just mean Asian. I mean all ethnicities, right? Kind of thing, right? I'm talking about different people. But those that like not too much stress and then they hit stress, they grey up like proper, like by the time they're 35 and whatever, they're like greying up already. John, most of his mates are bald. Web work can be a lonely place. Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely. Yep, Fixed Star, we used to share the food stuff, didn't we? Sinan's fasting, can't eat today. Oh, sorry. Well, that's the funny thing, Sinan, right? Okay, so, you know when you say genetics, right? My two younger brothers are proper, like, greying up. Proper greying up. You know why? Because they never had stress until mid-20s, late 20s, right? Then their lives become very stressful. I've always been at it. And I know other people as well where when you compare them to their siblings, when you look at the lifestyles they've had in terms of stress, in terms of life and work, you can see the difference. And I know they eat the same kind of foods and whatever. So next time you look at anyone who's greyed up quicker, have a think about their lifestyle in terms of stress. Because I'm telling you, my theory, it stands. It does stand. It does stand. We should do a comparison of this, shouldn't we? We need to do a proper scientific, you know, chi-square or whatever kind of thing. So look, Pickstar says it. Those who rest signal the body, you know, so grey kicks in quicker. Exactly. But if you're at it, it comes on at a slower rate. Jonathan says, I look, most people my age who grow up with and think, damn, you look rough. But that might be the lifestyle, right? That might be the lifestyle kind of thing. Shane, I'm inclined to agree. I had more hair and less greys until my kids arrived. See what I mean, Shane? So I'm not saying you had an easy life, but you would have had like a life where like you were okay. Things were okay. Yeah, you know. I mean, as soon as the kids came, right? Boom, right? Whereas I've been like, I feel like I've been absolutely mega stressful for a long time since a kid. I did not have a good relationship with my mum and dad, and I still don't, right? I had a torturous childhood with my family, my brothers, my siblings, family, wider family, all of them. Really like, you know, I did not have a great life at all. And then growing up as a teenager, I had tons and tons of problems as well with people. Kai, hey, how you doing? Kai, by the way, I said Kai. Yep, hi. And then I had a brain tumor removed when I was 21. Sorry. No, hang on. 20. Was I 21? No, I was 20. No, I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 years old. I had a brain tumor removed. So 24 years ago. More than 24. Yeah, 24 years ago. No, 26 years ago. That changed my life. Stress levels there. Left home not long after the operation because things just went, you know, weren't great with my family. Living in a bed till that. So I've tried to make my way in life, get a job, work, look after myself, you know, all of that stuff, right? So life has always been like a churn kind of thing. And even when I got into the NHS, I did not stop. I want to make a difference, whether it was managing people or doing things, whatever. So life is life kind of thing, like that kind of thing. Kai, just lost my pops. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kai. Really sorry to hear that. Do you know what, though? Me and my son, we have a funny relationship. Sometimes we have fun and sometimes he does not like me at all. A lot of that is down to the fact that he has got ADHD and I try to be the best dad I can. But even I feel like let myself and him down because I've got to remember that he will not listen 90% of the time. He will not do what I ask him. He will not eat what I ask him. He will not do so much stuff because his brain's on a different level. He's in a different zone. He sees things differently as to what is important and what is not important. And so, yeah, exactly, Sinan. We go out a lot. We do stuff. But the trouble is, though, is that you can go out as much as you want with your kids and family. You can buy stuff. You can watch movies. You can go to restaurants. You can go bowling. You can go go-karting. You can do loads of stuff. But all of that is just materialistic. That is just experiences. But when it comes down to it, you can have a great day. And then you come home to eat. I mean, in that moment, he can flip. Or I might get a bit cross with him because he's not listening or whatever. So there are so many variables at play, you know, kind of thing. And I'm surprised that I've not shot out with white hair at the moment. Or my hair's all fallen out kind of thing. Greg, no, he's got ADHD. He's not autistic. He's definitely not autistic, but he's got ADHD. He just like, you know, moods and stuff like that. Greg, progressive hair color is proof I survived child raising, military. Then the world of being an entrepreneur selling his business, president of the company. Ah, how interesting is that, Greg, hey? Company that acquired your company and now you're the president. Nice one, Greg. I'm not sure how you worked that deal through, but you worked it through good, my friend. Enoch has a client that pays really well, but his projects take a really long time. Look, as long as when you factor it, as long as you factor what they pay you into what you're doing, and it offsets the time you spend, then it's okay. It's where, though, they pay you. Look, let's say they pay you $1,000 and the project takes a week. Fine. But let's say they pay you $1,000, but the project takes 5 months or 3 months or 3 weeks. Is that still value for the time you spend on it? Kind of thing. So you just have to work that out. Jono says his 2 teenagers are 19 and 18 and they don't want to know me. Oh, mate, I've made clear to my son, he's only 9 years old. I've made clear to him, when you hit 16, you're going to go and get a part-time job, right? I don't care if you're doing well or not well at school, you will get a part-time job and you will start contributing. And I've made clear to him that if you want to stay living at home, when you get your first proper job, you will pay rent. Now, what I do with that rent is up to me. I will actually put a large chunk of it, in fact, probably all of it, into a savings account for him, which he won't know about. But I will make him contribute. I will make him understand, exactly like I had to when I moved out, the value of what you earn and what you do. You want that mobile phone? You want those clothes? You want that PlayStation subscription? You want the Fortnite V-Bucks and the Robux, V-Bucks, whatever they're called, Robux? You want all this stuff? You earn it and you deliver it. You earn it to get it done. You are not going to have fancy Nike trainers. You're not going to have all the fancy stuff, because once you start earning, you need to now spend what you need to spend, but you need to make sure you build up your savings, because the bank of mum and dad ain't going to be there to buy your house. I will fund your driving lessons, but I'm not going to buy your car, because I bought my own car, right? I bought my own house. Everything I own and do was on my back. And we have to remember that when I left home, I only had £110 in my bank account. When I left home, after having my brain tumor operation, I left university because the stress of all of that just got to me, because I was doing a medical degree inside of a hospital and it just brought back too much trauma and memories for me. It took me 4 days to learn how to talk and walk again. Brain operation, right? Tube in your head and everything, right? I've still got the scar, which is why I have my hair long and my hair is brushed over to this side. My scar starts here. It goes all the way around and it goes down to there. £110 in my bank account. The bed sit I was renting was £90 for the month. It was a shit bed sit. One room about this size. I had a bed, I had an electric meter, I had a cooker and a table and a wardrobe. And I had to use a shared bathroom with loads of other quite despicably unhygienic people, right? A bathroom that had to be shared between 6 other people, right? But I learned to understand the value of what I get paid. The fact that I have to sort my own washing out, I have to sort my own food out, I have to sort my own clothes out. I've gone and got a job where I worked in an office for £5 an hour doing very basic stuff because I needed to make money and whatever. But you understand the importance of what you do. So the banker mum and dad ain't going to buy you a house. And I've made this clear to him, even at 9 years old. We've sat down and I've spoken to him. I've said to him, I don't care if you do really well in school, because I'm not going to put that pressure on you. But if you know when you're in school that you are not going to do X, Y, Z, then you need to think about what you do want to do. You can't sit here expecting me to fund your life for you going forwards. I will support you, but you have to get up and prove yourself. What are we saying now? ADHD people, anchor problems. Yep. I'm just quickly coming down the comments. Yep. I thought the bank. Greg, I thought the bank of mum and dad existed everywhere. At the moment, he really does abuse the bank of dad. In fact, my wife abuses the bank of the husband as well. Like, she's got tons of money. But she's like, oh, I need to get X, Y, Z. I'm like, use your money. Oh, but bloody, 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 blah. Then I have to fund it or whatever kind of thing. Exactly, MD Jadan. You start to understand as you're older, right? I mean, I didn't have a good relationship with my mum and dad, and it's nothing to do with the bank of mum and dad. It's just because they did not share the dreams and aspirations I had. They want to live life, like a lot of people, in a old-fashioned way, right? I'm not digging at anyone here, but if you want to live your life where you are hard-coded towards culture and religion and tradition, if that's how you want to formulate your life, right? And that's all you're going to do and follow, and you won't break out the norm and create your own culture, you hold everyone back, right? You do not move on. You don't evolve. You don't develop. I, from a young age, have always said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to follow this way of living or whatever just because so-and-so said it, or that's what you've done, and that's what you've always done, and that's what you were or wear, and that's what you eat. I will do what I want to do. Hey, Webriser, how you doing? I'll do what I want to do. Because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. My dad was very honest with me about 4 years ago. And me and him don't get on, right? We don't get on. But he was very brutally honest with me. He said to me, he wishes that my brothers, his sons, who are younger than me, he wishes they did what I did. Now he looks at me because without anyone else's support, without anyone else telling me or holding me back, because when I left home, we're going back to the year 2000, no, not 2000, 1999, right? When I left home in 1999, I did not have a mobile phone, right? The only email address I had was my university one. I didn't even have my own private email. When I left home, I was off the grid. No one knew where I was. I made my own way in life, right? And that's everything you see here now is what I've made of it. Yes, sure, I was employed by the NHS and I got a salary. Yes, sure, I've got a web agency and I have clients that pay money. Yeah, you get sponsorships or whatever like that and people buy courses. Yeah, of course, that's where I make my income. But to get there, and this is for all of you that have a business or you want to do something, to get there, you had to start here. You had to start rock bottom. And then even when the days were dark, even on those days where you were bought a bag of fish and chips, because that's all you could afford, a measly small portion of fish and chips. And the reason you bought it was because you wanted to make it last for 2 days or whatever, or you had a tin or something. You saw the value and you improved, right? You improved bit by bit by bit. And that's what you do with your life and your work and your agency and anything you're doing. What you don't do is go, well, I could do this, but religion stops me. Culture stops me. Tradition stops me. Because I do not believe in anything stopping me unless it is morally, ethically, or legally wrong. I will not do anything illegal. I will not do anything to hurt anyone. I will not do anything that is going to be ethically incorrect, right? So as long as you know you're doing something that is okay, just do it. If I want to eat a cheeseburger, I'll eat it. If I want to have a drink, I'll drink. If I want to go out with someone who's Muslim, non-Muslim, whatever, I'll do it. If I don't want to go to a mosque, I won't go to a mosque. If I don't want to go and visit my mum and dad because I'm busy, I will not visit my mum and dad. If I want to design a website with Elementor, I'll design a website with Elementor. If I want to get an iPhone, but you want to get an Android, you get your phone, I'll get mine. You make your life the way you want to make it. But do not ever do anything illegal or morally or ethically wrong. All right? Stay true to yourselves. All right, everyone, I'm now going to jump off. Because I've just realized the time is... Whoa! How long have I been live? Does anyone know how long I've been live? I think I've been live for ages. Like, how long have I been live? I can't tell because I've got full screen on here. How long have I been live? 1 hour 19. All right, everyone. I've got to shoot off. I've got other stuff to do, okay? Because I wanted to have a break to get on with just do this, but I do need to get back on with other things. I'm pretty sure that hey, Nick, you just joined. You just missed a major rant. I think I've been ranting the whole session, Nick. Not completely. But good to see you here, Nick, by the way. Yeah, look, everyone, sorry if I said anything that since you didn't like or you didn't agree with, because you are allowed to not agree with anything I say. But you know what? Like I said, as long as I don't say anything that is illegal or moral or ethically wrong, that's what I go with. Don't worry, Greg, I'll be doing more of these live chats. I've had so much hectic things going on, but I will be doing more of these. Okay, everyone, I'm going to say goodbye now. Take care. See you all soon. And keep watching the videos.